are they? That's my question. So the beautiful idea that funding and funding will.
Satya Kumarji, you have been muted.
There are three broad areas of reforms in education that is going to happen. One is pure research-based institution. I think Anubhuti ma'am is unmuted. Yeah. Right.
I'll request every other participant to mute themselves.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes, Kumarji.
Yeah, fantastic.
So 30 more seconds, please, sir.
Yeah, correct. So last point is the regulator point of view. The regulator point of view is nothing but there is going to be three institutions in the higher education. One is purely a research-based institution, research-based teaching institution, and only a teaching institution. So there are going to be three broad categories of institution. And last is Rashtriya Shiksha Ayog, National Education Commission. So this is what the Prime Minister is trying to hit. And now who will form part of the committee? People like Anubhuti ma'am and Kusum ma'am and Jasbir Singh, Luke Macado, schools of different schools from across the country with the best practices. Those people should form part of it. Now, whether industry segmentation will happen in this education, that's another question, because it's also dealing with higher education. And they also said world-class education will be part of this panel. So my question is, in the National Shiksha Ayog, not only the Prime Minister should be there and the Union HRD Minister should be there, the State Education Minister should also be there. So that it is a cooperative federalism. You cannot bring one policy in the union government and try to implement in the last man citizen in Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu. So I think the cooperative federalism should come that so that the regional aspiration should also not go away. Culture has to be maintained. At the same time, modern education should also be provided, which is contemporized for the present 21st century. This is my points, and I hope fairly I covered the whole picture of national education policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Satya Kumarji. And you maintain a very strong point that social and cultural awareness comes with the mother tongue. That was the key behind that inclusion. You also highlighted why some reasons are creating or just giving some challenges in implementing that part. You also talked about that the vocational education that needs to be redefined, that needs to be defined in a broadened way, that need to be synced with 21st century skills, which has been defined by World Economic Forum. So big thanks, Satya Kumarji. We'll come back to you with questions. Now I would request Dr. Bharatwalji or Dr. Sunita Bharatwal. Sunita ma'am, over to you. Your interpretation on national education policy.
Yes, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure, and it is a privilege to hear about all those ideas and how to implement the NEP. It's really wonderful listening to Satyarchi and Anubhuti ma'am and Kusum Kabar ma'am. Thank you so much for making me a part of this deliberation. So to begin with my talk, like as I previously told you that because I'm working in a higher education system, so what I felt was there was a lacuna that is which is there in the primary education and especially pre-primary education as well, wherein the basic system of and the basic personality, it starts grooming up from there. We all know that learning is a continual and cumulative process, and a very famous psychologist Sigmund Freud, as per his Freudian theory, he also quoted that the complete less complete development of any individual, it occurs I think in between 5 to 8 years. So it is very crucial, for us to listen and to think about this early childhood care and education. So this particular terminology in NEP itself has got its meaning, and it has already been quoted why this new was delayed for so long. It was because primarily about the setting the framework and the regulatory factors of the early childhood care and education. This itself says that the early childhood care, the education has to be associated in such a manner that the childhood has to be taken and it is taken because this particular childhood, early childhood, has been taken because this is going to set the true what do you say, soul of the education in any individual, if you want to really bring the quality into it. So when you're going to talk about early childhood care education, different people, like if you talk about the educators and the school promoters and all, it's going to be all about setting a, full curriculum and the framework setting in such a manner that, it is research and development being done over childhood psychology, curriculum accordingly, and then making an architectural in such a manner that it's going to have a fullest of. And when you talk about the parents, I mean, they have a different outlook. They have a different outlook. And what I is, so when you talk about parents, so what they expect is expect a professionally designed. They expect a. I'm so sorry for interruption. Uh, Parents, they expect that the curriculum, for even if the formal education, but they expect that it has to be formally designed, professionally designed, and kind of a which is going to set base for their education of their kids. But it's going to be a challenging thing, as Satya sir already has mentioned, that education is something very formal. It is a formal, you can say, institutional presentation, right? But when you talk about the early childhood, it is a stage, it is a phase where the receptor is going to receive the things, I mean, through informal, gestures, informal ways. So it's really going to be challenging how to formulate the informal way of